Good afternoon, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yesterday was English class. So all of you had not come, right?
Yeah, ma'am, yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
Yeah, ma'am. Day before yesterday, right? I was there.
You were there. Who was not there? Who was not there? Okay, for science class, what all I have taught till now? For science class?
I didn't hear.
What had I started? What had I started for science? Can you see my slide? Everyone?
No, ma'am.
You can't. You
No.
can see. You can't see the slide?
Yes, ma'am, I can't see.
All of you can't see?
Ma'am, I'll share your screen.
Wait. You can see it?
Yes, ma'am, now.
You can see, right?
Yes.
Okay. I had started in last class with the plants and animals. Plants and animals I had started last class. You all were there? Were you there when I was teaching all this?
Yes, ma'am.
You had read how animals eat, everything I had taught. Remember?
Yes.
Okay.
No, ma'am, I was not there.
You were not there, but I had covered till this. Understood? I had covered till here how animals eat. Next is food chain. Next is hearing me. Please respond. Next is food chain. Okay. You remember now, I had covered in the last class all those things. And also about the different characteristics of plants and animals and their interdependence. Like we also have snake who lay eggs. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, I just joined right now because my internet was not there.
No problem, no problem. See, last class we had covered till here. You remember how animals eat.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So over here, we also have like there are some animals who repeatedly bite or chew with the front teeth. You know,
Yeah, ma'am.
that is called
Like
navy.
rabbit.
Rabbits, rats, and squirrels, they have sharp front teeth with which
Yeah,
they
ma'am.
gnaw nuts, fruits, and seeds.
Ma'am, today in my
Yes.
class, there is a play area. So right over there was a dog, cat, and a rabbit. So I saw her or him eating the
Eating
carrot.
it, having their food. Okay. Now, see, today we will cover food chain. What is a food chain? Like how it starts from the grass, which is it's a plant. Grasshopper eats it, and then that grasshopper goes into the mouth of the frog, and frog goes to the snake, and ultimately the eagle takes up the snake. So we see that a food chain, there is a chain which is following, right? A herbivore eats a plant. A grasshopper is a herbivore. It eats a plant. It gets eaten up by the
Carnivores.
frog. It gets eaten up by a frog. Frog gets eaten up by a snake, and snake gets eaten up by a eagle. And what
Ma'am,
we see, yeah.
eagle gets eaten by.
See, eagle gets eaten by. We are not showing over here. The food chain ends up over here. In this figure, when we see that from the herbivore we start, it's a plant, and from here we see that it's get eaten up by eagle. Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah, ma'am.
it is one of the example of a food chain, that how a herbivore eats a plant and a carnivore eats the herbivore. But over here, snake is also eating up a frog. So snake is not a herbivore over here. But over here, what we see that this forms a food chain in our nature.
Yeah,
Now,
ma'am.
a food chain, what does it show? It shows like how living things depend upon each other. We depend upon each other for our food. Now, change in the number of one organism in a population, like it is changing. It also affects the number of other organisms. See, lower number of carnivore means if there are less number of organisms who eats up the herbivores. So we will have more and more of herbivores and less number of carnivores if there are less. Okay.
Oh.
Plants are able to make their own food. So they don't need to eat anything. They just make their food with the help of sunlight.
Leaves.
Yeah, leaves. With the help of sunlight. And that process we have read, which is called photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Yes. All the food chain always start with a plant. There are many examples.
Yeah, ma'am.
There are many examples. Okay. So this is one of the example which I have given you over here. Now the grass gets eaten up by a deer also. Okay. And the deer gets eaten up by who eats the deer? Tiger. Tiger eats up a deer. Tiger eats up
Yeah,
a
ma'am.
deer. Yes. Now, that was only one of the slide which was left to be covered in the last class. Today we will start with the birds. Okay. We have like
Yay.
in birds, what all we will study? We will study about body parts of a bird. How do the birds fly? Then how do they make their homes, like nest? The home of a bird is called nest. Okay. Now we see in this
Yes.
figure, what do we see in this figure? We see in this figure the body parts of a bird, right? What does it have? The common body parts of any bird, what all? Head, eye, beak, neck, wings through which it flies, legs, tail. These are
Tail.
parts of a bird. Now, there might be some types of questions, like one of the question was there in your, like when we will solve the question, then we will come across with it. There was one of a question like, what type of beak does a duck have? You see in this figure also, a duck has broad and flat beak with holes. With holes, they breathe. So that
Breathe.
is why we should know the types of beaks. What all types of beaks does a bird have? That is why we need to know, because these types of questions come in your exam. Now, what are the types of beaks? One is strong and curved beak. This type of beak a parrot has, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Example is parrot. Now, the other beak is chisel shaped beak. Chisel shaped beak you are seeing, little longer one.
And a bit sharp.
What do you mean by chisel?
Chisel is they are having long and little bit sharp beak. Who all
Ma'am,
are?
it is like a tipped beak. Tip.
Yes, you are seeing now it is little bit long and tip one, sharp one.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
woodpecker
ma'am.
has. A woodpecker cuts the wood, you know that?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You might have seen in the TV also.
Yes.
Chisel
Yeah,
shaped beak.
ma'am. Every day I see it.
Okay. Then we have short and hard beak.
Hard beak.
These things might be there in your class book also, science book.
Yeah. No. No, ma'am.
No, you might be having
Yes,
the
ma'am.
topic. You might
Yes,
be
ma'am.
Textbook of school
School book.
textbook.
Yes, school textbook. You might be having
Ma'am,
no.
I have those. Ma'am, I
Yes,
only have
ma'am.
one example, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
One example, ma'am, is pigeon only.
Okay, tell me. Like, have your madam taught you all these things?
No,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am
ma'am.
has taught it like body parts of a bird and types of beaks. She had taught the birds chapter in our school.
Okay. See, even you have. Yes.
Ma'am,
I was.
Yeah, tell me.
I learned a bit in grade 2.
Yes, okay, fine, a bit, but you have to know little more to write in your exam. That is why you should remember. You should not learn, you should remember, you should understand. If you understand and know, then you will not forget, okay? You should not by
Yeah,
heart
ma'am.
anything, you should understand. Now, short and hard beak, who is having? Sparrow is having, you have seen
Pigeon
sparrow,
also, ma'am.
pigeon,
Pigeon
peacock,
and peacock.
then
Crow.
sharp.
Crow.
Yes. Then sharp and hooked beak. Who all does have that? Vulture is having that hooked beak, with the help of which they tear the muscles of other dead animals. They are also known as scavengers.
Ma'am, hawks also.
Yes,
Hawks.
hawks also. And we know that they are scavengers because they feed on the flesh of dead animals.
Animals.
Dead
So that the
animals.
forest won't become a dustbin.
Yes, correct. Then eagle is there, owl is there. They have sharp and hooked beak. We should know the example also. Then broad and flat beak with holes, goose and duck. Long and pointed beak, who is having? Sunbird
Sunbird, hummingbird.
and hummingbird. Next, we must know about, now, like they're strong, short and hard beak. There are many birds. Why these birds have those types of beaks?
Because depending on the food items,
Yes.
they have their beaks.
Yes, depending on the food item, their beaks are made like that by nature. You know, strong, short, and hard beak. Who has?
Yeah.
Sparrow, peacock, and pigeon has. Why?
Pigeon and peacock. Because
Be-
they feed mainly on seeds.
yes, they feed on nuts and seeds. Now, these birds have strong,
Ma'am,
short, and
eagles?
hard beak.
Ma'am, there's one reason for eagles of the toes of eagles, ma'am. Sometimes when of their claws, ma'am, it's also toes.
Yes, but eagle and hawk.
Sometimes when the eagle grabs, but the nails are sharp. It's
Yeah,
more like also it's
yes,
like a
that is
more
used.
like a killing system.
Yes,
For,
that is
for just the
used.
grab.
Yes, that is used to hold on their prey. Prey is their food.
Food.
Okay, but they have strong, sharp, and hooked beak. I'm talking about the first point, that is strong, short, and hard beak. Now, the birds such as
Ma'am,
sparrow.
hook the beak. Hook the beak.
No, I'm talking about hard beak right now. Hooked beak eagle has. I will tell you one by one. Let me speak first of all. Okay. Shall I?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, birds such
Okay.
as sparrow, peacock, and pigeon, they eat nuts and seeds. That is why they have strong, short, and hard beak. Why do they want hard beak? Because nuts and seeds are little hard. For them to crack, their beak should not be soft. And if it is hooked, then they will not be able to feed on the seeds. Okay. Now, these birds also have strong beak because it helps them in cracking and
Yeah, ma'am. They can just.
open the seeds. For opening the seeds, they must have hard beaks. Now, when you
Like
see,
walnuts.
yes, nuts and seeds, walnuts comes in that. Now, hooked beak, why is it needed? Because the flesh-eating animals like the eagle, okay, the
The hawk.
vulture, yes, owl, hawk, what they feed on? They feed on the dead animals sometimes, and they are flesh-eating animals actually. So they are also called birds of prey because they eat small animals. What do they eat? They eat mice, frogs, and snakes. For that they need
Even fish.
yes, they need their beaks to be little hooked. Then only they will be able to catch them, right?
Ma'am,
Yeah,
for some
ma'am.
reason the toes of the eagle, ma'am. I
What?
don't know why they're sharp. Ma'am, the nails, ma'am, of the eagle, ma'am, they're very sharp.
Yes,
And
they are
they
sharp. See, that is the second point. Right now, we are talking about the beaks. Once we talk about the beaks, then we will see. Slide is different now. I will come in this slide only because I am explaining you this slide. Their nails and all, that is also one of the point of catching their prey, catching the
Yeah.
animals which they eat. So that is also important. But first of all, we will talk about the beaks, which is most important. Then comes the claws also. Understood? Got it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Now they
Yes,
have
ma'am.
hooked beaks. Why do they want hooked beaks? Because they have to tear the flesh. They have to tear the
Yeah.
flesh of the animals.
Flesh.
Now, when we see that we have strong and curved beak also, like that of parrot, isn't it? Now,
Yeah, ma'am.
parrots have a curved beak, and that is colorful also. What does this beak helps in? Cracking nuts.
They're feeding mainly on seeds.
No,
Seeds
Eating.
and
Ma'am,
nuts and
eating the
fruits.
hard fruits.
yes,
To
biting
cut
hard
them out.
fruits. Biting hard fruits. Now, this curved beak also helps in gripping. Gripping. What do? They
Yeah,
live
ma'am.
on trees, and there are
Yeah.
small barks. You know,
What do you mean by gripping, ma'am?
gripping means holding. Like
Okay, ma'am.
when you grip with your, you can't grip, if you don't have curved beak. If you have just flat beak, can you see, you have seen the lizard on the wall?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it has a grip on they have a grip on their body. Then that is why they are able to go up straight anywhere on the wall. If they don't have a grip
Because
on,
they have these things called aloe on
uh,
inside.
if they,
Ma'am, I know
yes,
cause yesterday a lizard was on my foot. I just screamed and it just ran away on the wall.
okay. But if it will not be able to go on the wall if it has no gripping. Okay. Gripping means they are able to hold on to. Now, the parrot lives on a tree and tree has a bark. You have seen the bark on a tree, the hole in between. Bark
Yes,
is a
Yeah.
round hole in between. So that helps in gripping barks and branches also, the branches of the trees while they are climbing trees. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
You getting my point?
Ma'am, I got your point.
Okay.
ma'am, I got your point.
Okay,
Yes,
then
ma'am.
we have
Your point.
chisel shaped beak. Some birds, there are some birds such as woodpecker. Okay, they have strong and chisel shaped beak. Now, what does a woodpecker do?
It cuts the wood and eats it.
They also make holes into hard tree and trunks. What do? They eat insects.
And ma'am, they have sharp beaks to just
Yes,
to
they
just
have. They eat the insects on the trees. So they make a hole on the trees. They take out the insect from their beak and they eat it up. They
ma'am,
take out the
even
insects. They take out the insects from the holes on the ground also.
that's why ma'am they have sharp teeth. They can make a circle like
Yes,
so
and they have
it goes very fast.
chisel shaped. You might have seen there are some, while there are some tools also which the laborers use to make the furniture. The carpenters use that type of beak they have,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's more like
Yes,
tools.
ma'am.
See, if you understand, na, even if you forget, even if you memorize and forget, but if you understand, you will not forget. You will think what this bird does, what is the function of this beak. Then you will be able to know what type of beaks. Otherwise, if you learn it, you may forget it. So you must understand. Now, broad and flat beak with holes. Who does have? Ducks and goose. They have
Goose.
broad
Ma'am.
and flat beak.
Ma'am, what do you mean by goose?
Goose is the name of a bird. See, just like duck, a goose is there. It is also a bird. And they have holes on either
Goose is a
side.
female one.
They have,
Ma'am, I have a question.
yes.
My like the hard beak.
It's a
Ma'am, like
Yes, tell
when
me.
I
male
was
or female.
this
One person at a time.
when I was looking at the chisel shape,
Yes.
ma'am, what if it's a bit thin? What will happen? And it's a bit thick. What will happen?
Thin and thick.
Yeah.
Thin and thick. See, if they do not have chisel shaped beak, like if they do not have pointed beak, they will not be able to cut into the wood and they will not be able to eat insects. Okay, their beaks helps them to cut on the wood and take out the insects from the wood. But if they have very thick or thin, then there will be no point. They will not have pointed beak, and so they
Yeah.
won't be able to feed on the insects and they will die ultimately. Got it?
Oh.
Understood?
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
what do
ma'am.
you mean by
And my mother
ultimate?
told me, ma'am.
Yes.
My mother told me that if you just remember and copy, you will never understand it. Because I also did it. My mother just gave me a question like 2 to the 4. That time I did not know 2's table, so I was just copying it. Like
No, you
in
should
my
never
mind, just
copy. See, that is why I'm telling you, you should understand and study. If you don't understand, you will see whatever I am telling you, I'm making you understand the things. Okay. If you are understanding, you will not forget. Got it?
Yeah,
Next
ma'am.
point.
Yesterday also, when I was learning about the leaf, yesterday I was able to say it nicely.
You were able to say. So listen to me carefully because we are always in short of time. If we talk a lot, no, then we will not be able to cover the portion. Understood?
Yeah, ma'am.
You ask me your queries. Okay. If you have problem, then you ask me. Okay. Next topic is
Yeah, ma'am.
broad and flat beak with holes. See, duck and goose have broad and flat beak, and also they have holes on either side of their beak. Now these birds, they live in the muddy water with the
Yeah.
insects, worms, and water plants around
Yeah.
them. Now the mud and water flow out through their tiny holes. The tiny holes they have on their beak, no? The mud
Yeah.
and water flow out through the tiny holes, and they also leave the plants and insects inside the beak. When they are living
Ma'am, but
in the
how does the water comes out from the tiny hole? Like if water comes in the that mouth, then the tiny holes release the water.
yes, they release the water, and whichever plants and insects are present in the water, na, they go inside the beak and they eat it up. This is how they eat their food.
Ma'am,
Okay.
the water is went outside and the insects are in
Inside the beak,
the
and
okay,
they
ma'am.
eat it up. Now we have long and pointed beak. Some birds,
Ma'am,
like, yes, tell me.
ma'am, sunbird and hummingbird.
Yes,
Ma'am, the sunbird, ma'am, it looks more like a swirl. Swirl is like about to happen. It's like swirl. It's gonna become like a round circle almost.
but it has a very pointed beak. You can see it is not chisel also. Chisel is little bit sharp, but they have a little curved type and long one, which is very pointed. What do they do with that? They poke into the flowers. You see
Wait,
the
what?
flowers, they poke into the flowers with their beaks
Why?
because they have to drink the nectar from them.
Wait, ma'am, they're just like insects.
No, they drink the nectar from the flowers. For that, they have pointed beak, long and pointed beak.
Ma'am, the same
Do
butterfly.
these birds also drink nectar?
Yes. Hummingbird and sunbird have long and pointed beak, which they use to poke into the flowers and drink nectar from them. Got it? You have
Yes,
to know
ma'am.
these examples. Next is
Okay, ma'am.
birds, feet and claws. Now here we will talk about the feet. Everyone has a different kind of feet, right? Now
Yes, ma'am.
birds have 2 feet. We know already.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Usually with, see, how many toes do we have? We have
5.
we have 5. But how many does a bird have?
4.
Ma'am, they have till 4 or 3.
They have 4 toes on
4, 3.
each.
Like 4, 3, yeah.
4 toes on each. Now on each toe, they have a curved pointed
What about
structure.
ma'am, what about the duck, ma'am? They only have 3 toes.
Yeah, they have. Like, see, we are talking. Every bird is different. You saw they had different type of beak. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
They had different type of beak. Similarly, the birds also have different kind of feet. Feet also
Ma'am,
they
I
have
have
different
one
type.
question, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if the toes of the eagle are sharp, ma'am, how can it grabs, ma'am? So
Yes.
I don't know. And
See.
ma'am, it sounds more like it's grabbing and also getting in like putting its sharp claws inside the body for some reason.
Listen. I will go on each and every bird, the type of feet and claw they have. Okay. We will take each bird. Then we will understand what is it called. Like toes of a duck, they also have a different name. Okay.
Ma'am,
We will
eagles.
different birds have. See, eagle is also one of the bird. Then we have duck, then we have crane, then we have hen, then we have crow. Okay, tell me, does all the human being look same?
No,
No.
ma'am. They don't look same, ma'am.
Similarly, eagle, crow, hen, duck, are they same?
No, ma'am.
No.
ma'am.
That is why I'm telling you all the birds have different types of feet and claws. We will come one by one to each. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Different,
ma'am.
Yes,
different.
ma'am.
Okay, let me speak now. Different birds have different types of feet and claws. We know that. First of all, the flesh-eating birds. What are those? Hawks, vultures, and eagles.
Hawks,
Uh,
vultures, and
Eagles.
uh,
Okay, listen, let me say, you ask me when you have problem. Because only 10 minutes are left for the class. I have to cover it fast, right?
Wait, the ma'am, this timer started now only.
Yes, that's why I'm telling. Flesh-eating birds are vultures, eagles, and hawks. Now, they have strong feet and claws to hold their prey. They have very strong feet and claws. Okay, while flying, how do they catch while flying? Now, their claws,
Their claws.
what is the name given to the claws? Their claws are called talons. Remember it.
talons.
Their claws are
Yes,
called
ma'am.
Talons.
Ma'am, the claws are called
Ma'am, it is
talons. Talons.
talons. Okay.
ma'am, talons, ma'am. I was about to say
Yes,
that, ma'am. It's written in the syllabus of the exam now, ma'am. I
Yes.
say,
So,
and I
okay, let
and
me
also
speak. Their claws are
I
called
I go on
talons,
Olympiad.
and using these talons, they pick up small animals while
for
flying.
their
Toads,
foot.
mice, and rats. And birds of prey. Birds of prey means those animals whom eagle catches are called birds of prey. Prey. They have 3 toes. They have 3 toes pointing forward and 1 toe pointing backward. Got it?
Yeah.
Second
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
we have perching birds.
Woodpecker.
No, not woodpecker, not over here. They are like toes of different kinds of animals. I am talking about what are perching birds. Perching birds. We read about toes of an
Perching
eagle.
birds are
Yes.
perching birds are the birds
Sparrow.
that perch on trees.
Yes, sparrow, myna, crows. They have 3 toes in front.
Parrots have perch on trees, so they are called perching birds.
Now, what does
Sparrow.
perching means?
Perching birds are those birds which have 3 toes in front and 1 at the back, because this type of feet help them to go to the tree branches. The birds which go to the tree branches and sit on them are called perching birds. Okay.
Even on parrot.
Yes, and they can perch on any tree branches even when they're asleep. Even when they sleep, that time also they can perch, because they perch on
Like
the
a
tree
bat and
branches.
a ma'am, bat
Yes.
and a owl also.
Owl goes upside down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Then we
And
have
Yes,
then
turn
really
their neck
owl
360
goes
degrees.
upside down in their holes.
yes.
Ma'am, does the owl really sleeps upside down?
Yes.
Ma'am, do they perch?
Just like a bat.
They perch, but at night what happens, they can't see. See, those things will come. Shall I finish it? Otherwise, we will be like, we'll not be able to complete it. We
Yeah,
have,
ma'am.
Yes.
we have,
Now 5 minutes are remaining.
yes, we have scratching birds. If we will continue in the next class then, till the time I'm completing it. We have scratching birds. Then scratching birds are hen, turkey, pheasants. They have very strong legs. Okay.
Yeah,
With
ma'am.
3 toes in front and 1 toe at the back. Now, their toes are very sharp and their claws are also very hard, because what do? They dig the ground. They dig the ground, isn't it? Hence, and they bring out the worms, insects, and buried seeds. Okay. These are different types of birds. And we are talking about their toes. Now, we also have climbing birds. Who are the climbing birds? Woodpeckers. Woodpeckers are climbing birds. Why? Because their claws are such that they can climb trees and cling on to them. You see the picture over here, the toe of a woodpecker.
Yeah, ma'am,
Hello?
I can see it.
Yeah, the woodpecker is a climbing bird. They have two
Yeah,
toes.
ma'am. They can climb it very
Yeah.
easily.
Yes, they have two toes pointing forward. You can see on the picture, two toes pointing forward. You can see now.
I can see, ma'am.
Yes, and two
Yes,
toes and they have two toes pointing like backward. Two
a
backward.
bit backward.
Yes. So this type of feet, what does it helps in? It helps in climbing trees and clinging onto them. That is why all these animals have different types of toes. Now, when we see toes of a duck, you are asking now about eagle. I told now eagle has talons. Who was asking eagle has talons?
Mommy.
Yes, you got it. Eagle has talons. Then woodpecker is a clinging bird. That is why it has a different type of claw. Now
Ma'am,
we are
birds
yes.
chapter has talents. I'm asking that the nail looks like it's very sharp that it when the eagle grabs anything, it sounds like it's injecting something. The nails injecting the
Yes,
nails.
it injects its nails into the birds of prey to whom they are going to eat. Got it?
Really, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh my god. Extra damage.
What happened?
I didn't know that, ma'am.
You're asking
did-
something?
No.
You got it now. They have very pointed
no.
nails and they
No, I
hold
got
on to
it.
their birds of prey.
No, I
Next.
got it, ma'am.
Yes, okay, fine. We'll move on fast. Toes of a duck. See, where does a duck lives? Duck lives in a water. They are called water birds. And they have webbed feet. Do you know? Have you seen web?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
They
Yes,
make a
ma'am.
web. Similarly, can you see the toe of a duck over here? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ma'am, it's written in my textbook,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, and can you see the web around its three toes?
Yeah,
Yes.
ma'am.
That is called
It-
webbed feet. Why do they have webbed feet? Because
Ma'am,
yes,
no, because they have to swim, ma'am, and that helps them to swim.
yes, these types of feet help them to swim in water. Now, the three front toes are joined by what? This is the web feet which you are seeing. This is joined by skin, a thin layer of skin, which is called web. Now, this skin helps
What
them.
if
Yes,
it just tears off?
it will not tear off. It will not tear off. It is the skin of the bird. Okay, fine. There are different type of people. Somebody has a very rough skin. Somebody has very sensitive skin. Does it tear it off?
No.
If it tears it off, it will hurt the duck, but duck takes good care of it. So it will not tear it off. There might be some injury or something, but it heals it up. There are several ways we can take care of ourselves. Similarly, the birds also know the ways to take care of themselves. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So these feet help them to swim and the skin helps them to push water. They push the water back. How do we swim in the water? We push the water back to make our body go forward.
Yeah.
We
Yes, ma'am.
push the water back so that our body moves front. Similarly, the toes of the duck, the webbed feet, pushes the water back so that it can move forward. Time is up. Okay. We'll continue in the
Next class.
next class.
Ma'am, hens are running birds, ma'am.
Yes, it is less than 1 minute. Just tell me, did you understand whatever I
Yes,
taught?
Yeah, ma'am.
Everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
They have strong
See,
hens. Ma'am,
only
hens are running ones because they have strong legs and long legs.
yes, we will continue that. See, whatever I have taught you today, that will not help you until unless you revise it. You revise from your textbooks. Okay? And try to remember it. Okay?
Yeah, ma'am. I'll remember it.
Yes.
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
learn, just try to understand and put it in your mind. I will continue in
Yeah,
the
ma'am, I
next
put
class.
it in my mind today only.
Very good. And you have to revise also. See you all in the
Yeah, ma'am,
next
I will
class.
revise.
It is just less than 1 minute. Class may end up anytime abruptly.